Well, hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Kilpala. I'm the Communications Coordinator at the Peter White Public Library. In today's community conversations, we're going to look at the Marquette arts scene, and I'm joined by Tiina Morin from the city of Marquette. Hi, Tiina.
Hey Jen.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Normally, we see each other in the building all the time, and I
I
haven't
know
seen
it's
you for a
strange. I was
while.
just telling you, I'm looking at a camera on my computer and trying to make it seem natural, but it's not.
Right, I know. It's different and it's new, and we're all thinking about what's next in the future. So that's what we're here to talk about today is art, the art scene. And why don't we start off with how you and your staff have been working through the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, it's been really interesting because, we rent space from the library. The Arts and Culture Center is located in the Peter White Public Library, which has been closed. And the city, city offices are closed as well. So we really had to do a quick turnaround. We never stopped working.
Mhm.
And we really switched to supporting our stakeholders and a lot of advocacy. We do so much more than programs and exhibits. That's a real small part of our work. We actually do a lot of arts advocacy, grant writing, and other city projects. And so when this whole pandemic happened, our first response was to check on some of the larger nonprofits and arts community groups in our community, from the Quilters to Art on the Rocks to Hiawatha, to see how they were doing. And one thing they all needed was resources. So one of the things that we did was quickly put together an artist resource directory to answer questions and offer resources that were available to arts community, from the National Endowment for the Arts, from Michigan Economic Development Corporation, Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs, different things that were open for nonprofits. So just trying to make those connections for people.
Mhm.
And that was the first month, was trying to connect with people and share resources, really. Um, but other than that, the big thing was going virtual with everything. So we kept meeting with people and talking with the community about what they needed and what they wanted. So I think it was a real learning curve,
And
like it
so
was
what,
for everybody in the community.
sorry about that. So what did they say that they needed? What were some of those initial things, I guess, and what are they now for the artists in the Marquette area and those stakeholders?
Well, that's an interesting question. At first, it was, how are we going to survive? Everyone was worried about money. And it's different for the artists that had galleries and businesses, and then artists that were more the theater, um, that really relied on people coming to them and getting revenue that way. Then there's the all of the presenter organizations. Everyone was so different. Some of the artists really moved effortlessly onto online.
Mhm.
Especially visual artists seem to do really well. But what they all wanted were resources, grant writing assistance, and basically for us to promote what they're doing. So, one of the first things that we did was that artist resource directory. If I look down, I'm just cheating on my notes because it's hard to remember
All right.
everything. We did some grant writing. We moved our current programs that we have to virtual, which was a learning curve for us when we taught senior dance virtually. And we had more people do our senior dance classes virtually than did them in person, which I thought was really interesting. Yeah. And then so we have a senior arts program. We moved that virtually. We also moved our senior theater experience virtually. They started a podcast. Uh, People wanted an ability to share. All the artists said they want to be able to share what they're working on right now. So the library and the city started the Marquette Memory Box with the poets, Marquette Poet Circle. And I think people are going to be hearing a lot about the Marquette Memory Box. It's a virtual way to share written word, performance, live performing arts and the written word and visual arts. And I think people, when we get into the fall and start staying home more, not as much time outside, people will start hearing about the Marquette Memory Box. But that was a huge part of our spring, was developing a way to share creativity. Um, and then just promoting people. We have a social media campaign called Creatives Conquer COVID across the UP. We work with a UP Alliance, so sharing stories of people that are successful at doing it so other artists can learn from what they've done.
Nice. And so, I lost my questions. Hold on. There they are. What new platforms, you talked a little bit about the virtual dance. I'm really interested in how that looks. What kind of new platforms are you looking to deliver programs? And maybe it will change how you do them even post pandemic.
Yeah, I think for us, it's getting the resources out there and sharing how other people are doing virtual programs. You know, we're doing Zoom. We're doing our dance by Zoom. We set up the laptop in the studio gallery. The blogs, a lot of the seniors that we're working with our senior arts programming, they don't have access to iPhones. They still use flip phones or landlines. So that's been a challenge. So we've been recording their stories and kind of doing things the old-fashioned way for that. That's the senior programming. For the community, people have adapted really well. I mean, we've been watching how people share theater at the national level, you know, dance. Wow, youth theater and the local dance companies have done so much with virtual programming that way. But I think we're all learning, we're getting better, and it's not going to go away. So I was talking to one software company to find out how are they developing things so we don't have weird time lapses and we can share things more in real time. And everyone's learning as we go. But the good news is that once we master it, I don't think this is going to be a constant way, even if COVID leaves and we find a cure, that we're always going to be doing things virtually, and now we're better at it. I think it's a big strength. So I guess the answer is we're still learning outside of Zoom, absolutely still learning how we're going to be doing virtual programming.
Yeah. And so let's talk about a program that's not virtual that people have probably been seeing. The words, I can't remember the name of your program, the words on the pavement around town.
Words to live and bike by. So the advocacy component of what we do and connecting the community, grant writing, that's one thing. Another thing is we are the liaisons to the City of Marquette Public Art Commission, and they kept meeting and identifying projects because a lot of their projects are happening in a year or 2 years from now, but they really wanted to do something that would impact people now. We have people come to public comment and speak. They can either send something in written and we'll read it on Zoom, which is all of the meetings, city meetings are on YouTube. And we had quite a few young people that said, I want to do something public. I feel like we need to be doing something public, both with the response to COVID, but also the social injustices.
Right.
So the Public Art Commission said, well, let's do a community art project on the bike path. Everyone uses it. Artists could do it safe, social distancing, and it would be a small project that might have a big impact. So the City Commission approved it, and we just finished last week, 5 words on the bike path at different locations: hope, gratitude, respect, dream, and remember.
Yeah,
So far,
I've only seen pictures, but they look really neat. I'm excited to go see them.
And you know what's really neat about them? I've never spent that much time talking to people on the bike path, but everyone kept walking by. Everybody just wanted to talk about the last 6 months. Didn't matter what age. I had high school students saying, "Oh, I'm virtual learning," and just wanting to talk. So it started a lot of conversation, and a lot of people just said, "Thank you, I needed this." You know, it's something different. The words will go away, say mid next summer, and if people love them, maybe we bring them back and do different words. So I'm really happy with that project. As far as other Public Art Commission projects we're working on right now, we're working on a mural project that would take place on Hurley Field's basketball court. And that's actually a big commission project that would happen next summer. So actually, the pandemic has allowed our office to really focus on some things that sometimes we didn't have a lot of time because we were so busy with exhibits or programs. So working on some future public art projects that I think the community is really going to enjoy.
Yeah, and can you talk a little bit about art, and especially with the pandemic and just, like you said, people wanting to talk, you know, how is art going to help us during the pandemic?
Yeah, Well, it's interesting to me. I feel like in some ways, even though we all miss going to art openings or going to the Ordoc and listening to music and dancing, or the theater, Forrest Roberts or Kaufman. But at the same time, I feel like artists are interacting in different ways, much more than they ever have, and talking and sharing. And I'm seeing people take up artistic habits or creative habits more than they ever have. I mean, I saw one professor from Northern, she started posting pictures of earrings. I've decided to make earrings, or now I'm a collage artist, or someone's getting back into woodworking. And it's been an opportunity to maybe kind of go back to some of the things that you've wanted to do, and it's comforting. You get to express yourself, you get to talk with people about how you're feeling, and creativity is a form of self-expression. So it's very comforting and a great way to process all these complicated emotions. Some of it's light, some of it's pretty heavy. So I think in that way, creativity, I mean, art doesn't die. I mean, right, we went through a plague and there was always art. Art has survived just about everything. And you can kind of see how a community or a civilization is going to, you can see how they're growing by watching their art, how history is, you can see history and learn about history through art. So we're not going to be any different with this, I think.
So how can we in the community of Marquette support the Marquette artist community? Because I know I've seen some things on social media from different individual artists, but as a group, what would you like to tell the community?
We're all getting much more used to, I think now, the idea of paying to see someone perform online or giving a donation felt awkward maybe. And we're getting more used to it. And those donations, if someone's having a concert and you can donate via PayPal online, it's important to do it. And it's important to forget that these artists are still working, and a lot of them are willing to have teach music classes. I know my daughter does her violin classes via Zoom. Is it the best? Maybe not, but that's what she's doing. And some of these online concerts or online art classes, just to get involved and participate. But definitely people are selling art, buy art online for gifts if you're able to. That helps artists donate to your favorite arts organizations because they're trying to survive and find creative ways to survive. And you can easily find them, which I'll talk about in a minute with you, how to find those organizations. But yeah, just don't stop. A lot of the galleries are open right now, which I thought was really interesting, and they're being very safe. I'm very impressed with Beth Milner's business, 0 Degree Gallery. All the galleries are doing a phenomenal business being safe, so frequent them.
Great. Well, you do have some things to show us about what you're looking forward to for the Marquette Arts and Culture Center. So do you want to go ahead and walk us through some of the stuff that you're working on?
Sure, I'll screen share.
Okay.
So, the biggest thing, and I've been talking about this, is how do we bridge that digital divide? How do we connect in the time of COVID and share resources? And this is something we always struggled with before COVID, but it's just given us more motivation to finally find some answers and do it well. We've been wanting to work on a arts and culture resource guide for the community for years now. We've been doing it little bits, but now we've had a lot of time to develop it. One of the things that the community is familiar with is the Marquette 365 event calendar, which started with the Marquette Chamber in support of the city and Northern and the Peter White Public Library and the Downtown Development Authority. But it wasn't really very used by a lot of people, but not a lot of artists, which I was surprised. And so we had some time to think about, what's missing from this calendar of events and how can we connect people with it more. So you're seeing it on my screen here. The first thing we did is start an online streaming. And this is the presentation, so I'm not showing it to you live, but you can see here there's an online streaming tab, which we started letting people know, go there to post your online streaming events and to connect people. But what we're doing is we're going to rebrand this whole screen. This is what you look at now when you go to Marquette 365, but you'll
Sure.
be seeing the new launch probably in the next month and a half.
Okay.
So new brand, new design, new everything. We need a new name too. So if you have a catchy new name for arts and culture, community resource guide, let us know. What it's going to have, the tabs, you'll have online streaming events, kids and family, community art wall. You're going to have a lot more different tabs at the top. Also an artist directory, what's not up here is public art directory. So a lot more choices, bigger images, more exciting images. We're going to have a blog with news stories. So for example, what's the Peter White Public Library doing new? Great story about it. You know, basically kind of an online arts and culture newspaper for the community. And a great way to make announcements about different things that are happening in the community as well. And we hope that the community will submit stories as well. Public art directory, this is a module we purchased and we're working on, and this will show all the art in Marquette, public and private. So for example, the really cool mural on the Black Rocks Brewery is a private mural, but we want people to be able to find it. The Father Marquette statue, the bike path murals, anything that's art in Marquette on Northern's campus or within the city, people will be able to find it here. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
great.
community art wall we talked about with the Marquette memory box. And this is live now. Anyone can download anything they're working on, whether it's a child's drawing that they, doodle they did, or a knit project you're working on, or a series of paintings, anything goes. So you can post it here. And then just in general, virtual arts, public art, virtual programs, public art will be our big focus going into the fall. But then looking forward to when we get to meet again in person. And those events will be Art Week, which we were really sad to cancel this year. Cultural Trail Project, which is interpretive signage along the Holly Greer bike path along the lakeshore with public art. That's a big project we're working on, but that will be our focus again going into this year. And then continue with the online arts calendar and the arts advocacy. So as you can see, I've called it Art and Recovery. And we're going to get to the other side, recover, and I think we're going to be better than ever as an arts and creative community. I just see everyone responding in such positive ways. I'm really excited to see what the art scene holds once we can all come together again.
Lots of work, lots of artists working, I can see there.
Well, don't you know what I mean? Like the Peter White Public Library, everyone's working. Everyone says, I'm working harder now than I ever did.
Right.
Because you have to. I mean, I see everyone at the nonprofits, library, and city, everyone's working so hard because this is a unique time and we have to be creative. And I just see people working more than they ever have.
Yeah. Yeah, well, thank you for sharing. All this future stuff looks really exciting. And I'll be excited to see public art along the bike path too. It's a pretty
Thanks.
place.
I appreciate you letting me tell the story. You know, it's not like
Yeah.
I go up at a meeting or something.
Yeah. So I do have one more question we ask everybody, and that is, how can the library, how can Peter White help heal the community during COVID, after COVID, whatever the end looks like? I don't know. We might be in this for a bit, but how can we help heal Marquette?
The library he's been doing that, I think, the whole time by giving us access to information and the, Wi-Fi and everything. I really feel like the library is our hub here in the community. It's where everyone comes together, and they will continue to do that. And I'm excited. I feel like the library, I know the staff, because I'm kind of on the inside with working here, know all the creative ways that they're trying to find ways to connect and heal and allow the community to connect and heal. And it's through that sharing of book clubs or performance opportunities or this Marquette memory box. I honestly think they're doing a fantastic job, and just to keep doing what they're doing.
Thank you.
And what I love about the library is doing is their phone lines are always open. You call and talk to a real person, and that means so much. You don't get a recording. So just keeping that open communication and letting us call on you to ask questions. And I also like, I know the library is looking at ways to get people technology. So if it's checking out potential in the future technology, so they have it at their homes, or making Wi-Fi available, I think that's been great for all of us. So thank you.
Yeah, we're happy to help, and we're looking forward to reopening. This is the week, so have some people back in the building. I know we're all looking forward to seeing our friends again, the people that we serve. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for this, and we'll look forward to hearing more about Marquette Arts in the future.
Thanks. I'll keep you posted.